Here we are. We had the same members from the previous Scrum, strangely enough. Rafael, Paolo, Lokesh, Michael, and Sam are here. It's time to talk AsyncVoter, where we seem to have been making some progress. Let me get the screen up here and get the waffle board up. I guess one of the things that we do in many of the meetings recently is just kind of go around and get anything that people want to, make progress on, and make sure that we just make a quick list of it rather than diving into one thing. I guess just for me in the meeting, the key the key things is like get PRs merged, full deploy. I'd love to see the it's like all the Slack apps renamed appropriately. We were just hearing from Paolo in the previous meeting about, I guess it's development environment setup options. Are there particular things that, I guess, Rafael, you were saying, is there anything, is there any new stuff?
Yes.
Is there anything, Michael, Lokesh, Rafael, any other things that we need to cover today, or anything that we want to get done that we do it today? But if not, I guess for me, it's like sorting, staging, CI, other bits and pieces and things. Anyway, okay, so we've got some notes on those. Now in the background, so like what I've just been doing before the meeting is renaming locally for me so that I've got all of the different bits and pieces here named correctly. So I've now kind of like deprecated what was previously production and staging for me and called that DigitalOcean. I've got my Azure production and staging there. And I think now we should have this latest no opinion thing. Where's it gone? AsyncVoter. No, that's the wrong one. Come back. Oh, slowness. Hopefully that's merged. So I just did that one. If you do, I don't know what happens if you try to have two votes going on the same channel. Yeah. But yeah, so no opinions now live for the master for the production system. So great, we've actually finally completed the deploy. Haha. It's interesting. I wonder there. I mean, I guess we've yet to encounter a bug where people have opened two votes one after the other, and what happens there. I guess are they considered as separate instances? No, they end up being two cloned. Okay, all right. Sorry, didn't get distracted by potential bugs.
Can I interrupt? Just ask you, how would I add the AsyncVoter test channel to my?
Yeah. So the AsyncVoter, basically, if you see here in my Slack where it says channels, next to the channels there's a plus button. Oh no, that's create new channels. Oh yeah, I think if you click on channels, you can browse all of the available channels.
Oh, browse all.
Yeah, okay, and then you can kind of find those, and then by clicking on them, you can join them. You're most welcome. Yeah, because we made that channel because it got really noisy in the main AsyncVoter channel. Doing that there. Okay.
So, as for the duplicates, Sam, I think when we get a chance to get to the pull request, that's going to be, I think, is going to be resolved.
Right. Yes, at least one sort of duplicate there. Yes. So, well, what we could, I guess. So, the way that we've been trying to run kickoffs in some other projects is that we kind of bring along tickets that we would like to get voted on, and we get voted on and we use the AsyncVoter, and that's a way forward. So if people have got particular tickets in the backlog there, or anything that they think that they would like to get voted on so that they can then be worked on, the idea is generally that we we try to avoid just start working randomly on things because we want to vote on them to kind of let the rest of the team have their input, know what we're working on, kind of share this, that, and the other. I mean, it's not like there are no golden rules, I guess. But so we could do that, and we could go in for reviewing the board. I was thinking that maybe what I could do is go through getting this last. We've got this sort of outstanding pull request. There's an argument. The author says before taking on new stuff, you should just get other stuff done. So we've got this change my vote thing here that Raphael has worked on. Matt's already said it looks good. We could just get that. So there's nothing holding us back from merging that in. That the only thing that gives us pause for thought, and these are sort of concerns with the infrastructure rather than this particular code, is that, I mean, this, presumably Raphael's run the tests for himself locally, but we've got no CI on this, that sort of checking that it's running on an arbitrary thing. So at the moment, in the absence of the CI, I guess I would end up, I think I've maybe done this already, git pull origin, make sure I've got the latest thing. And then is it just npm start or npm test to run all the tests for this? And then, and Raphael was also asking me there about how do I do the cam on the screen. I've got this little heads up app that I think that costs $2 that basically allows you to bring up a little appy thing. There we go. Okay. Okay, so it looks like their choice string I'm probably missing, so I need to do npm install. So I think I would love to get us so that the tests run on the pull requests themselves.
There is Circle CI or Travis.
Yep. Yeah, there's Travis. We use Travis, Semaphore, CodeShip, different ones and different things. Travis is good. I like Travis. I think we've got a ticket on that. I thought we had. What do we not have a ticket on that? Which would be, I'd love to get that voted on and get someone working on that today. I mean, CI, have we not got a ticket for that? Search possible code refactorings. Set up. No. All right. So there's no ticket. So I'm going to make a ticket for that. And we can have vote. Does anybody have any other tickets or things that they particularly want us to vote on?
Yes.
Go on, Michael.
I'm not sure if it's best situated in this app, but
go on.
If we could record people's votes, what they're voting on and when they vote on it. For instance. Absolutely.
I think now we've got it kind of working. It would be great to be getting that telemetry, particularly because we've now lost the telemetry from the Hangouts that we were getting.
Yeah, it would give us more data points on people.
Yeah, and then feed that in. So I think whether it's like, because we've got that other app that does do storage, whether, as you say, situation in this app, or whatever. Do you want to check if there's an existing ticket for that, or open a ticket on this one, on this repo, just to say, like, either implement or integrate with some,
I looked
storage
in the API. I don't see it in the API app. I thought we had a ticket for it.
Okay. Well, have a look for that. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Hey, good.
Good to have you with us.
In the Slack.
Yeah, would you guys want to have a search for it in the background? As you do, I'm just tempted to finish this process of this is partly to show the process that I'm doing here. I mean, apologies if this is like ridiculously boring. But so in the absence of CI, the process of reviewing the PR that's is to overlook the code. As we're seeing, Matt's already reviewed the code on this. The tests are all passing. The thing that always gives me pause for thought with this kind of setup is because even though we don't have like end-to-end tests that go through the Slack thing, so we could have something here where the tests all passed, but then if we happen to do, we might not find out if we deployed directly into production that it was breaking the app for everybody until we actually deployed it. But what we can do now with the Azure staging, and I think is, so I can now take this. I can take this branch. So this is 14, change my vote. And we can now get that this is given that I've got all these. I can do git push, and I can stick it onto Azure staging like this. And so, for example, we could get you rights for this, Paolo, and then that would be a mechanism to allow you to test things. And I can stick the name of the branch in here, append master, like so. Now, here, because it's got like a different GitHub, so Git commits, I have to do -F to force, like to blow away what's currently on the staging branch and stick the this particular feature branch on there. And the big advantage that we have from having Doku on Azure is that we can do this all as we would do from Heroku. So then, because we've got the staging voter all set up, we can come in here, and as soon as that's deployed, we should be able to run it and see the multi-vote thing and stuff. And I guess, Rafael, you hadn't had a chance to test this actually on the, like, integrated with Slack, right?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't think so. It's been a while. Sorry.
No worries. No worries at all. I think that just deployed. But what we want to move towards is a situation where we make it really easy for everybody to do the test. You know, this kind of testing. It's clear. I think it's like.
I notice.
Go on.
I noticed that it doesn't have a no opinion button.
No, because I guess it hasn't. But presumably when we merge it in, it will. But it looks like it's working there. I mean, I'm clicking these buttons like nobody's business, and it's yeah, it's only got single ones. Great work, Rafael. That's great to see that. So that basically avoids that thing. One thing I did notice there that seems like a little bit different from the main voter.
So it just takes your last vote, and that's it.
Correct.
Okay.
One thing I do notice there's a difference in the amount of space in between the commas here. So like if I'm on the main voting thing here, then these are separated and it highlights the names. Whereas when we were just doing it there on the staging voter, voter staging. Go on. So here, can somebody else vote on that as well for me? And actually, can somebody else vote on both of them?
Sure.
Yeah. So we're losing the
Space.
yeah, which means that these are, at least for me, the Tansaku is not highlighting anymore. I mean, that's kind of trivial.
That's I can fix that up if you like today. Yeah. It's really minor. So
yeah, no, it's really minor. I mean, the only thing that I'm thinking, it reminds me of this issue of the previous system that we had of kind of alerting people that a new vote had taken place. Kind of with the instant feedback, the highlighting the name of the person in the channel is actually not that important. So it's kind of, I mean, it's good immediate feedback. I kind of go on.
Should we even worry about the commas or just put spaces?
Yeah, I think it's a cosmetic thing, and that can be changed either way. It's reminding me of a different feature that we might vote on in the future. So anyway, I think I've taken certainly long enough on that. Probably in the background, what I might do there is like merge that and start and get that out onto staging and test that it works with the no opinion in combination and so on. But in the meantime, if that all makes sense, we could get onto voting on some of these tickets, and then that unlocks people to work on new features if they're interested in doing so. So far, that gives us, come on to here. Yeah, so I'd love us to vote on the CI thing, even if that's a bit of a non-entity. Did Michael or Matt, did you find a ticket that was corresponding to adding in persistence for this, or just create one if not there?
I didn't find one. Did you, Matt?
No, I honestly I didn't look, but I can look right now.
Okay. So well, let's in order to move it on, let's just start off with this CI one. I mean, I'll get the vote in there, but we can discuss that. Does everybody understand what we mean by having continuous integration added into the repo?
I'm not totally sure, but I kind of. Is it running tests automatically and all that as you check in stuff? And
exactly. Yeah, we have CI set up on most of our other repos. So when somebody commits, we get, as well as like here, a green tick to say that there are no conflicts. We get like a tick to say all the tests have passed, and that's just it's a sort of a handy additional check. It means that a person who's submitted the new code can potentially immediately see that they have a fail, rather than like the person who's reviewing the pull request checking it themselves locally, as I was just doing there, and discover that there's some break or what have you. So it's generally considered pretty good practice. Does anybody have a preference about one CI system versus another?
I think I used Travis, and I think it's pretty easy to set up. I'm just taking a look at one of the other projects I'm worked on.
Yeah.
And it was just such a so easy to use.
Yeah, we have Travis on local support in our system. I'm very happy with Travis. Has anybody any strong reason to use anything other than Travis? You can just see. So for we've got here, this is like the Travis continuous integration here running.
By the Travis circle, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah, so Circle CI, Snap CI. I mean, there's so many different ones.
So many options.
Yeah, but, yeah. We use Semaphore on website one, and that's got some benefits, I think, over Travis. I love Travis. If you go through their support tickets on GitHub rather than through their main support desk, you get great feedback, and you can see like a complete build of the thing there. Anyway, okay. Well, I think is there any other questions before we vote on that? People can, of course, now use the no opinion button, thanks to Raphael. So, there we go. So, Michael and Paolo, do you want to join us in the votes? Please click no opinion if you're not sure. And I guess at the same time, we will queue up persisting a user's vote in some way. I've also got an open ticket for that whole thing. Yeah. All right. So I guess, Paolo, are you having trouble finding the place to vote for?
No, I was in the AsyncVoter bot test channel, but now I found it.
Ah, there we go.
You just voted.
You did. Excellent. All right. A 6-way vote. Here we go. Right. Okay. So it's Michael. You and I are in the minority with our belief that it should be simple.
Well,
it's yeah. I mean, I think I'm happy to often these things can be a little bit tricky, like it just like permissions, because it's an async, Agile Ventures organizational repo. So I'm happy to just say medium.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, that's easy. All right.
I was happy to have no opinion.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing, the use of the feature, the circle is complete.
This is the Supreme Court. You're not allowed to not have an opinion.
Well, we can have people on open tickets later to remove the no opinion and have like a no opinion, or it can evolve in all sorts of interesting ways. But what I need to do, what am I doing now? I need to go to where's it gone? We need to find the ticket that we were voting on. That would be a good thing, wouldn't it? Probably in here. Why is that not updating? Waffle is not fast enough. Right. What was that? Was set up CI. So that is now. Come on, Waffle. Here we go. We have a size of this as being 2. That's great. And we can put that. I'd certainly put that to the top of the ready pile. And we can go through at the end about who wants to be assigned to anything. So we've got this next one there that Michael's created, which is about persisting a user's vote. So if people don't have alternate suggestions, I would say let's vote. Michael, do you want to take the lead on explaining the reasoning and using the voter in the AsyncVoter channel to do this?
What do you mean the reasoning? So, oh, you want me to actually start the vote? Okay.
I was thinking, yeah. Why don't you lead the vote and encourage, rather than me doing all the talking. And in the background, I might actually deploy the other thing from Raphael. We kind of trying to delegate.
Why we want to do it too, maybe.
Oh, Michael, you're muted at the moment if you want. Hey there, Michael.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm aware of that. Hold on.
I guess he's just sort of typing. I guess while Michael's typing and setting the vote up in that channel, does anybody have any questions about this, the need for why we want to persist users' voter data?
Yeah, I do. Is where we're wanting to store this and for what purpose? Is it for data mining later, or is it for? It just seems to be adding a lot of extra complexity, like another layer of complexity.
Sure. I mean, I think I can. It is making it more complex. My personal motivation is that, running Agile Ventures, we would like to be seeing who's using the app, and be able to give also people credit for participating in voting. The idea, that we have in the Agile Ventures site, that so much of the stuff that we have is like not the usability is poor. How it's supposed to work is it's difficult. But so for example, the individual members, we have it set up so that they have this karma concept, and there's the idea, a bit like Code Wars, where you get points for completing challenges and so on. In this activity tab, having contributed commits to Agile Ventures projects, that you get points towards your karma score, Agile Ventures karma. And then also we had it set up like actually, hosting Hangouts and attending Hangouts and other things like filling in your profile also contribute to the karma score. And then we sort the members page in terms of people's karma levels. And it's supposed to, a bit like, I know people have seen Code Wars, it's sort of partly trying to gamify it so that people are kind of they get credit for the activities that they're doing. So yeah, I think what we would like to be able to, one, be measuring how much people are using the app, and then two, giving them credit for it. Go on.
Yeah, I get it. I just find the question a little bit non-specific. Like, do we want to use Mongo? Do we want to, like, saying how hard it is? It depends on what technologies you wanted to use. We've got the Redis server, which we're using Redis at the moment, which is a temporary cache.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So do we want to just switch to, if we just switch, say, from Redis to Mongo, would that actually solve the issue and just note down who voted? Just making sure that the format is easily navigable in the database. So
I think in a first sweep that probably would do something good. Yeah, as Sam said, we want to basically store that data for both karma and also for analytics purposes. So I think ultimately we might want to actually end up creating some kind of API that that website one can reach out to, but that's kind of, Sam, would you say that's not in scope for this?
Well, I think it's sort of up to us to decide the scope. What it is, ironically, is before we built any of these things that integrated with Slack, we built a whole system that had an API and stored stuff in MongoDB. And so the question is, do we want to reuse that? Like as Raphael was saying, like the simplest thing could be to put it in MongoDB. I mean, in principle, can we be reading the data off the Redis cache?
We can until Redis reboots.
I think it just reboots and then you lose all that data, so you'd have to.
Okay, right.
It's not really.
And we don't have the frequency of the rebooting, and so
it's not really a persistent solution.
No. I mean, I guess what Redis is doing. I mean, but Redis can reboot in the middle of somebody's vote, and we might lose the vote thing. Or what kind of guarantees do we have there?
Theoretically, yes. Redis is just a local cache.
Right. And so
no guarantees.
There's no guarantees. So in fact, okay. Well, that's maybe this.
Redis is for things you don't care about losing at all, really, basically.
Right. They just need to be probably around in the near future, and if there's a cache fail, well, whatever.
Then you take the performance.
Yeah, indeed.
The testing. So,
I mean, I guess what we might want here is like user stories where we say, as a AV admin, so that we can. I mean, I can write these out. We can just talk through them. But does the ticket become here rather than doing it that we should be researching how to do it and weighing up the pros and cons of the different approaches?
I think that would be a good start. Or if everybody's just happy to use something like Mongo, and we can all just align straight away on that, I think that's good. We can then customize Mongo further if we don't like the format it's being stored in, or whatever. We need to do it some other way. We can look at it. We can maybe have a larger discussion later.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we should just look at how do we drop out Redis and put in an actual persistent data store, like Mongo,
or we look at
data store.
Go on, Michael.
Or we look at using the backend API.
Right. Like, it could be when the vote came in. I mean, that would be interesting if the communicate. It could be like using the Redis and at the same time pinging stuff to the rather than storing it in the MongoDB locally, we've got MongoDB set up, and if we were then pinging it over there, that would then make it easier in the future for website one to just grab that data from the API. But yeah, so go on, Michael.
Like for instance, in a first instance, when someone hits reveal. So that kind of like finalizes the vote. It could ping the API and attempt to persist it through the API, and then the API itself could expose that data, knowing where we want to go. Or basically, because it's gonna be touched by other apps like Website One, right?
Yeah. Can I raise a point? Maybe it's not relevant, but remember, Sam, last week we weren't sure, we touched on this, we weren't quite sure what happens if you let other people install your app, whether they're going to be using your server. So that's the case, and this AsyncVoter is put out there on Slack for anybody to use. Then maybe the server will receive not just the AsyncVoter votes, but everyone's votes.
Maybe.
Well, you could just don't hard code the URI, right?
Indeed, but it's certainly something that would be great to clarify. Like there's this mechanism for distributing the app, and I'm unclear. It's like if somebody else in a different Slack instance downloads the Slack app, if they're then required to configure their own server, or if they'll be kind of talking to our server. So that's definitely something worth investigating.
You'd rather have it be one step with its own store, I think, but
it's ambiguous. I'm gonna have to move on. What I would say is there's still various things to work out. It feels like but there's options here. So it's kind of a research ticket in the first instance. So maybe it doesn't make sense to vote on it until there's been some more research done. I guess what I'm tempted to do at this point is move to seeing if we can, is there anybody who wants to be assigned to either of the two things that we've been looking at? So, and it's not a binding commitment, but it's like the idea of the kickoff is that we kind of, we say what we are planning to do for the next week. If you don't do it, don't do it, because it's all on a voluntary basis. Does anybody want to take the lead on trying to set up CI?
I'm happy to if nobody else wants to.
Everybody else not saying anything at this session? Well, yeah. It's okay, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, thank you, Raphael. Let's pop that in there, and feel free to reach out, and or of course you can unassign yourself, or if that's ends up not being so much fun. So I'll put that in there. Now this one, who's going to take? And it doesn't have to be one person. It could be, you can just if you're even if you're just interested in the thing. Like if other people were, like for example, Lokesh, if you were really interested in how is CI going to be used, we could add you or assign you there. Who's interested in trying to think about these different options for how we might persist the data?
I'm interested in helping someone if they want to take the lead, but I'm not like taking the lead. I guess.
No, well, sure. And this one, it's like, well, people can work on it independently. It's like, this is more like the list of people that I might ask next week or the week after when I say, oh, so did you find anything out? Did you have any further thoughts about this?
I'm available. I would be available to whoever wanted to.
Yeah.
We could work out like a meeting time to trade information or talk on Slack.
Uh-huh.
I'd be interested in helping out with that also.
Cool.
What about you, Matt or Paolo?
I'm not really sure how much time I will have this next few days, so I probably better not to assign stuff to me this week, I guess.
Sure. Matt, is this one interesting for you?
If you're going to have a hangout or something, I'd be glad to.
All right. Good show. All right. So we've got, that's, hopefully as we move forward in the future weeks, we can get better and quicker at voting on more things, assigning, like every other week we do a kind of retro, what have you. I think, Matt, maybe you're not, I'm not sure why.
I'm not in that one. Could you add me?
Yeah, I'll have to do that in the background. Okay. Yeah.
Is this meeting every week or every other week?
It's every week, but we've got the design sprint next week.
Next week, so it'll be the week after.
So, well, of course, those people who are not involved in the design sprint can, of course, have the meeting without us and do the different bits and pieces. I guess coming back to, the list of things there, we've got some new stuff. We haven't helped Paolo with his development environment setup, but and I guess what I'm tempted to do is kind of leave you guys, and maybe you can sort of discuss with Paolo some of the options about what are the best things there. I've kind of got most of my things addressed. There's yeah, I mean, it's sort of a bit, Paolo, do you want to go whole hog and kind of get, your own entire app and be able to run it from your own computer? And I think like ngrok will allow you to have a hard IP. That was how I did. I mean, I have run it on occasion from my own computer, but going forward for me, I wouldn't bother with that. I would just be using the AsyncVoter staging instance to get things working. You know what I mean?
That means I would have to check into the staging, check in some changes, then.
Well, you could open a pull request from a feature branch in GitHub and then push that code to the staging Slack app.
Sure. I mean, that's probably easier than trying to expose my local machine to the internet and stuff. And I just wouldn't know how to do it, but if somebody can show me how to do it, that'd be interesting. I'd be happy to be able to test that way.
Cool.
But this means I'd be stepping over anyone else who's also trying to use the same
thing on staging. Yeah. So I mean, we could be creating like further separate instances that we would all share. Anyway, I'm gonna have to step out and get ready to take my kids to soccer practice. What I'll do, I guess I'll hand it over to you guys. I'm really glad we were able to coordinate and get a few things sorted out there. I'll leave it all running. I'll just sort of step out, and if you guys want to carry on coordinating and working on these things, that'll be great. Yeah. Sorry to love you and leave you, but I'll step out for now.
Okay. Ciao, Sam.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Yeah, Paolo,
Yep.
I can help you. Oh, didn't we set up your Windows machine?
Yeah, we did a little bit. We installed Redis. I mean, I actually went ahead and completed that. So I ran the npm install. I can run the app locally, and the the index page I can see, and it connects to the Redis database, which is also I can start locally. And so the next step would have been trying to get either to get my computer evoke code from the Slack server by configuring the Slack app to, but I don't have an external IP. So what Sam was telling us we could do is for me to use Git to push some repository, but somebody.
I'd recommend just doing that and coordinating. Just put a message, I'm going to be using staging now into Slack, and because I don't think you're going to bump into people that often.
No, sure, but I can, like you said, I can coordinate, send a message in. Is anyone using it? Can I use it for a couple of hours or something? And make sure I don't step onto anyone's toes.
Pal, I mean, first of all, you have your tests on your local machine. You've got npm installed and that type of thing. You can just run npm test. When you're ready, you can just declare on the channel, I guess, say, hey, I'm just going to do this. Let me know if there's any problems. Obviously, if nobody's used it for a little while, you can probably just go ahead and do it. It's not such a big drama.
Yeah.
And anyone else who wants to use it can just, over trump me and install their whatever, configure it, send their stuff onto it, and
we can just chat about it as needed. It's not a drama.
Okay, that sounds great. Do you guys could you guys show me what to do, or even just one of you guys, or how?
Yeah, you need to know the git push command. Is that what you're wondering?
Yeah, for example, I don't even know if I have Git installed. I'm running on Windows, so I'd have to start from scratch and just open a DOS shell.
Yeah. I think your next step, if I remember right, is getting Git installed. Oh, and Daku, Raphael says, right?
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've used it, but I can't remember if we needed to. No, it's just a Git.
No, I think, you can just add the remote and do a Git push.
Okay.
So when you get Git installed, just look for how to install it on Windows, and then probably ask one of us to help you with the git push command. Git fetch and push.
Okay. So even later today, or maybe tomorrow, or when could be a good time to?
Yeah, the mornings my time are good for me. Do you see Raphael's giving you some commands there?
You're in the East Coast. Which side of the States are you? So
it's like noon from now.
Yeah, it's 6 hours, I think, difference from here.
Okay.
I think. Okay, git push -f doku.
The docu ad is, I just can't remember it off the top of my head. It's the user and machine name, and then you put in the so it's kind of like git push -f for force, because otherwise it's going to complain because you're switching branches, pushing one branch into another branch, and then it's, I think, just a username at machine, and then in the branch to push.
And branch refers to a local branch on my machine, or do I have to first check in my changes onto the AV Git repository or something? Do I have to create a branch on GitHub?
Yeah, so if you work, normally you'll be working on a feature. And
okay, so there would be a branch for that feature.
Branch, correct.
At this point, I don't have a feature assigned, so I don't really own a branch to test. But I still cloned the repository. I've got it locally. How I would I be able to push my own repository using Git? or do I have to first push it
I'd
to
recommend
some-
that you check it in, but that's actually local branch. I believe that's pushing the local branch to the remote branch. So the branch on your machine to the remote server. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few Git things you'll need to be familiar with, maybe, Paolo, like Git fetch, or first setting up remotes in Git.
Probably won't have to. You'll have to first of all learn Git clone.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, and then from there you'll need to learn how to set up a new branch, how to push that to remote server. There's a few pieces of documentation. There's lots of stuff also on Stack Exchange about using Git, which whenever I forget something I always use. But I believe there is a guide on Git that you can.
Yeah, I was trying to.
I just see if I can find it.
Or even in Agile Ventures, we made some documentation on. Let me look for that.
There's also a little bit of a cheat sheet I've just found. Maybe helpful.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, so I'll start by looking at Git a little bit, and then maybe Matt, I'll try and see if you're around sometime. You said morning your time is best, so
Yes.
like 10 o'clock your time would probably be about 4 p.m. my time. Does that sound ideal to you, like 10 a.m. or?
Yeah, even earlier, actually.
8 or 9, like 2 or 3 p.m. for me, I guess.
Yes, 8 or 9. Right.
Oh, okay, so maybe tomorrow at about that time, I will try. I can try to ping you in the AsyncVoter channel, see if you're, or even direct. I can send you a direct message and see if you're in, and like half an hour together and see if I can.
That's all it would take, I think, to get.
And if I don't find the time to really read through these couple of links, it may not be tomorrow, maybe the day after or something.
Well, or we can go through it together, even whatever is better for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You're in Italy, Paolo?
Yeah, I'm in Rome, just outside Rome.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I'm in Budapest, so I'm the same time zone as you. So if Matt's not around, feel free to ask me.